I am speaking to you from Plymouth, Massachusetts, and I know we've got representatives from Illinois there. What other states are represented? Go ahead and type that in. We can see where folks are from. Oh, Washington. North Adams, Massachusetts. Super, not too far from me. And another from Washington, Great Washington State, Chirac. I'm not sure what Chirac is. Could you explain? Or is that Iraq? Anyway, appears we have people from all over. So welcome to everyone. Oh, Chicago. All right. Yes, folks from many different places. That's great. Well, welcome. I'm Dorie Stolley. My presentation's called Eager to Eagles, an introduction to wild bird identification. Now, before we start, I want to say a big thank you to the Elgin High School students who put this together. It's just such a fantastic opportunity for everyone, for the students who get to watch, for presenters who get to talk about things that they love, and also for the high school students themselves who have a great accomplishment that they'll have to, to talk about and feel proud of. So, also, this particular presentation is targeted to fourth to eighth graders. However, definitely older folks can enjoy it and younger folks. So if your class is younger, uh, you might need to ask your teacher a question or two. And if you're a little older, please forgive me if you feel like I'm talking down to you, but I'm not. I'm just trying to hit that fourth to eighth grade range there. Besides, I'm sort of a child at heart, so all ages work well. For questions, feel free to type in questions as we go along, and I might answer it when I see it, or I might be addressing it later, so I might answer it later. If we get to the end of the presentation and I haven't answered your question, please type it in again. And you see my email address at the bottom of this slide. You can always email me the question, and I can email you an answer later on if we don't have time to address it. Okay? Uh, did anyone have time to do the preparatory activities? That was looking through a bird guide, observing birds around where you live. I bet I bet you were able to observe birds, unless you had your eyes closed the whole time, because they're everywhere, aren't they? Um, but, so before I go on to talk about the birds, let me just tell you a little bit about my background. So I have a professional background in ornithology. I worked for U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for 11 years as a wildlife biologist, and I did a lot of work with birds, including this here. So that's me, the shorter one. I'm crouched down in the cactus. There, what am I doing looking in the cactus? This is in Texas, okay, not Massachusetts. We don't have places that look like this in Massachusetts. Oh, I was looking. Look at this picture. What do you see in there? There are the cacti leaves, and hidden among them are eggs. What in the world nests on the ground among the cacti? Any guesses? Think about it. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to guess unless you know. This guy, the black-bellied whistling duck. How interesting is that? So this really, I would say, illustrates why I'm so interested in birds and why I think you might be too. It's because they are exciting to look at, always doing interesting and strange things, and even found in places where you think they would not be found. Oh, and here is my greatest professional moment. Obviously, I'm not the guy holding the ice cream cone. That's me in the costume. That's the blue goose, which is the mascot for U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and I got to wear the suit. Oh, they told me that I was a little too short and it made my legs wrinkly, but still, I don't think people were looking at my legs. All right. So I've told you a little bit why birds. There's a few more reasons I'm going to talk about why I like to study birds, why you will too. Well, here's this guy, this little hummingbird. Um, Birds come in so many different sizes and shapes and live in so many places. So we've got the hummingbird, and then we've got as big as an ostrich, and that's about relative size there. Also, you can find amazingly colorful and fascinating looking birds. This is a northern jacana found in Texas. It's got huge legs and it walks on top of lily pads. So interesting. Oh, this is one from my home state. All right, I don't know if you guys know what it is. It's a baby, obviously. Look, it doesn't really have wings that it can fly with yet. It's all downy, and it's cute. Most baby birds are cute. Oh, someone says plover. Yep, you're right. This is a piping plover. You can say plover. You can say plover. Either is fine. And I put this in because birds are cute and fun to watch. Oh, here's another one from my home state. But this bird, all right, think about what it is. This bird is found on every continent except Antarctica. It's found all across the U.S. Might not nest in your area because it would have to have fish, hint, 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 fish to eat. This nest is a couple miles from where I live, and we set up a spotting scope on it so people can come watch the adult fly in and feed the babies. You can see two little heads of babies uh, sticking out. All right, someone has a guess. You're right with the first part. It's a fish hawk, right? It's a type of hawk, a fish hawk, also called osprey, Osprey, the osprey. And well, it is a type of hawk. Everyone loves hawks. Most people do because they're so fascinating. They've got, the talons. Look at the talons on that bird. To get its prey, it's got a hooked, sharp beak to get its prey. For this one, it's fish, but other ones will get rabbits or snakes or birds and so forth. So there's drama and excitement and beauty with the birds. And look at this. What a variety. Here's backyard birds. Have a look at this. You have probably seen some of these birds. You might not know the name, but they come in all sorts of colors as well. Very exciting. Oh, isn't an airplane or a helicopter named after the osprey? Perhaps. I know there's a helicopter called the Black Hawk. Seahawk? Yep, no doubt. People like to name a lot of things after birds because birds are fast and strong and fly. So, yeah, that's a good point. Oh, and also birds are fun. People love birds. People like to use them as puppets and as muppets and so forth. So there's my big bird photo. So anyway, I promised to tell you 6 things that will help you become a good bird watcher, or birder as we say. So here's the big 6 not so secret tips. 1, location. 2, habitat. 3, behavior. 4, sounds. 5, silhouette. 6, colors and markings. Now, a lot of people like to start right with colors and markings. They want those binoculars or spotting scope. They want to see all the little details. But the secret is there's so many other things you should be looking at and thinking about before the colors and the markings. So I'm going to go over those, and by learning these, it will help you watch birds, and from watching birds also be able to identify different birds. Oh, so location. I'm going to start by telling a story about my father. Uh, my dad was never much of a nature guy, but since I like bird watching and because I gave him a bird book, he went out and bought binoculars and he put in bird feeders in his backyard in suburbia and he was watching them. Well, one day I got a call from him. He was so excited. Dorie, guess what I saw in the backyard? I said, what? He said, a Jamaican woodpecker. It's like, Dad, you're in Maryland. He said, yes, it's a Jamaican woodpecker. I know it's a Jamaican woodpecker. I said, well, how can you tell? And he said, it's in the book. It looks exactly like it. I thought, Dad, what book are you using? Well, it turned out he'd away the field guide I gave him to his grandson, and he was using Birds of the World. And sure enough, he thought he'd seen this bird, which looks almost identical to this bird. These two birds look very similar. On the left is the Jamaican woodpecker, on the right is the red-bellied woodpecker. And since they look so much alike, how do you tell them apart? Well, the red-bellied woodpecker, its its range where it could be found, where it lives, is indicated in the purple. And the arrow points to Maryland. And purple or lavender, whatever you want to call that, means it's there year-round. So that's where it's found. And that there's Dad up top with the red arrow. There's Maryland. And then the Jamaican woodpecker, there's its range, a tiny dot. It's only found in Jamaica. So what does that say to you? You've got to think about location and range. Location is where you are at the moment, and range is where the bird is, the location it's going to be found. And all the bird books have great little maps in them that show you where they can be found. And there's also a lot of online things. You can get a bird list. What are the birds in your state? What are the birds in your county? What are the birds in the particular nature preserve that you go to? So you can look a lot of that stuff up, so you know that a Jamaican woodpecker is probably not in your backyard. Okay, so before I go on, I'm going to address this question. What is your favorite bird? Now, before I answer it, think about your favorite bird. What's your favorite bird and why? Huh? My favorite bird is the raven because ravens play. They fly and they like to play as they're flying, and they fly for fun. You can tell if you watch them. Also, they're found in so many beautiful places, so they get to see a lot of great scenery. And someone else said their favorite is a crow. Also, very smart bird. Interesting. So, I've got a question. What would happen if a bird was removed from its natural habitat? So, think about that. Oh, someone else said chickadee. Burrowing owl is their favorite. Those are great birds. Yeah. Yeah. Perhaps later on you'll want to look up some more information about your favorite bird or draw a picture of it. Or I was thinking about getting a tattoo of a raven. I never did. Never did. No tattoos. But and I wouldn't suggest that to you either. But drawing a picture would be a good thing. So it's not good for birds to be removed from their natural habitats because that's what they've adapted and evolved to live in. Some birds, if you move them out, they'll die. Others, if you remove them, then they might become dependent on people and people food, and then they can't go back and live in the wild. So generally, it's best to leave them in the wild. If it's injured bird, you can sometimes take them to a rehab place. So what made me interested in studying birds? It's because they're everywhere. You can be sitting in a car in the McDonald's parking lot and see birds. You can be anywhere and you're going to see birds. You have something to watch and something that's interesting. But I would say the first experience I had was with a teacher in high school who took us out bird watching, and he showed us birds, and he had very bad eyesight. He did not even really use binoculars. He would listen, and he would also look at. Well, I'm going to tell you some of the other clues that there are to identify birds without using those colorful markings. Oh, here's a tip. Yeah. Okay, if you have a field guide, here's one of my favorites. Highlight the birds in your area. Right there. We have bald eagles around here. So I know when I'm glancing through here, we can see bald eagles. Or you can just X out birds that aren't in your home state. Let's say there's a page of sparrows and they all look a lot alike. Just put an X through the ones that you're probably not going to find in your area. Don't be afraid to write in your bird book if you have one. Okay, what's the second clue? Habitat. Now, habitat's the type of area your bird's going to be found in. It's where it nests, where it forages, looks for food, where it finds shelter. Um, so the reason I have these two pictures is these are two different birds that look a lot alike. Um, on the left, does anyone know what that is? Or on the right, does anyone know what either of these birds are? I'll give you another moment. Okay, so maybe not. So on the left is a bird called a killdeer, and it's a type of plover. On the right is another type of plover. It's a piping plover, which is endangered. Well, people will sometimes call me up and they'll say, "I saw a piping plover in my it's on the dirt road. It's nesting. I think it's nesting right there." Or it's in the gravel area behind the parking lot. And they think it's a piping plover, but it's a killdeer because the killdeer like areas where there's no vegetation, and they will nest in sand pits and playgrounds and so forth. The piping plover will only nest on the beach. So it's very important to know what habitats your bird is that you're looking for is going to use. So my favorite field guide. I'll show you a couple of my favorites. Okay. Sibley, he does great guides. He does paintings. Some do paintings, some do photos. Kind of prefer paintings, but not entirely. I've got a whole stack of bird books here. Do you see them all? Okay. Another favorite, National Geographic. And they are sort of enhanced drawings or paintings. They kind of look a little more colorful and intense than life, real life. Range maps are right there on the same page. See that in green. Here's a great one for beginners. Oh, that's weird. Can you see this? Sibley's, and they do a whole bunch of different ones. It's good for beginners and experts. I use this all the time. And I like it because it's great photographs, simple, and it shows like the male and the female if they're different, and summer and winter plumages if they're different. And they make a whole bunch of these. Sibley's does. Super books. They make warblers and backyard birds and so forth. And so it's small, it's easy to carry, and it doesn't have too many birds in it. Okay, one last one. This is not to take in the field. It's really heavy. This would be a great classroom book because it shows the birds in their habitat, and it shows them in flying and standing and swimming and doing a lot of different things. There you go. And so this is it's like digitally manipulated photographs made into almost like a collage, and it's called the Crossley Guide. That's a great one. And there's tons of them, so find something you like. The only ones I don't like, which you might have seen in the introduction to this, are the ones that go by plumage color, because I don't think that's the first thing you should be looking at. You can think about what taxonomic family the bird's in, or think about, is it a perching bird or is it a duck that dives? Some go that way as well. And some divide by habitat. That's a good way to do it too. Okay, so it's habitat. Oh, here's some different habitats. Can you identify these? We've got, of course, beach, desert, we have a marsh, and we have a backyard, because birds can be found in your backyard, in the city, in the country, everywhere. All sorts of habitats. So in your field guide, you can add some notes about where it's going to be found. For instance, you can see this. We've got snipe at the top, found in freshwater marsh, and a similar bird, the American woodcock, that's found in woods and meadows at the bottom. So that's really helpful. Ooh, someone really likes saguaros and Gila woodpeckers. Yes, those are found in the desert. Yes, the kind of cactus is called a saguaro cactus, and then there's woodpeckers that like to nest in them, actually avoiding the cactus thorns, I'm sure. So, what else is going to help you be a better bird watcher? Looking at bird behavior, and that's fun too. It's really fascinating to watch a bird. It can be a pigeon, it can be um, a house sparrow, anything, a starling, anything common, not common, because their behavior is just so fascinating. How they interact, but also how they feed and how they fly. These things are fun to watch, and they can help you identify the bird. So, for instance, in terms of flying, you want to look at the wing beat rhythm and speed. So do they flap, you know, at an even pace, or flap, flap, and then glide and so forth? Do they flap slowly or quickly? When they fly, do they fly in a straight line, or are they kind of going up and down like a finch or a woodpecker? They fly up and then they drop down and up and down, and then flapping versus gliding or soaring. A lot of the hawks will soar quite a bit. So a tip to that is to learn the flight pattern principles song and sing it often. And if you don't want to learn this for yourself, learn it for your younger brothers and sisters or the kids you babysit, because this is a great song. Okay, I'll sing it once and then y'all can sing it along with me. Okay. See me? Okay. Wings in a V for a vulture, wings straight out for a hawk, never in a hurry for a seagull, always in a hurry for a duck. Quack, quack. All right, you ready to go? Okay, everyone. Put your wings in a V. Wings in a V for a vulture, wings straight out for a hawk, never in a hurry for a seagull, always in a hurry for a duck. Quack, quack. Excellent. I wish I could have heard you. So what does that mean, wings in a V for a vulture? Well, whoops. I don't have a vulture. Vulture's coming up. Vultures fly with their wings in a dihedral, it's called, or a V, because that's how they hold their wings. A hawk, however, if you see it gliding, its wings are going to be almost straight out for some of them, or maybe in just a little bit of a V. So when you're driving along or walking around, biking around, you see these soaring birds, check out how their wings are held. Also, a seagull is not in a hurry. It can flap slowly, and a duck has to flap quickly. But why? Why? Well, and I'm sure you're thinking of this, ducks dive in the water, or sometimes they tip over in the water to feed. They're actually really heavy, and in order to maintain flight, they just got to flap like crazy, poor things. So sing this song often. It will help you, remind you of the principles of identifying birds by their flight patterns. So feeding behavior can also help you identify a bird. For instance, this bald eagle uses sight. Hawks are known for their great eyesight, and they will soar. That is, just fly around without flapping, looking down to identify their prey. And egrets as well use eyesight. They look for their prey and then they snatch it up. So when they're feeding, they're going to be looking first and then trying to grab that fish, as an egret would. Okay, what uses touch? We're going to see the sandpiper video. All right. Let's see. We want to start about here. So, what are these guys doing, these sandpipers? They're look how fast they're putting their bills into the here it's seaweed, and below the seaweed is sand. They're feeding by touch. When their bills encounter something, they'll snatch it up, and their bills are actually sort of flexible and can feel what they're hitting. Pretty interesting. This was done with a GoPro on a beach near where I live. And just going to show you something else real quick here. The good thing that camera had a plastic case on it, right? A lot of seaweed. Look how fast they're feeding, huh? Just crazy. All right. Back to our slides here. Oh, sorry you didn't see the video. Sounds like some did. I can send it to you. You can see it later, okay? It's pretty fun. So by touch, there's another bird that feeds by touch. Check out this bird. It's so cool. It's called a black skimmer, and its bill, the lower part and the upper part, which are called its mandible, are different lengths. So what do you think? Black skimmer. Black skimmer. All right, let's see how it feeds. Oh my goodness, look at that. I've seen this. This is another local bird for me. They fly around with their bill in the water like that, and when their lower bill encounters a fish or something to eat, it just snaps shut. It's by touch mostly. Probably sight as well, but touch is the big thing. I mean, a lot of these birds will use more than one sense for their feeding, and one sort of primary, and then the other helps them along. Okay, these guys, owls, are famous for using their incredible hearing. And most owls hunt at night. They've got good sight as well, but really to locate the prey, it's by hearing. They can even find prey that's under the snow by listening to it and coming and pinpointing its location. And uses smell. Ah, there's our vulture again. See the wings in a V for a vulture? They will soar for a long time trying to smell their food. And we all know what vultures eat, right? What's going to smell really strong? Something that's died. So they like roadkill, stuff that's been killed on the road. I'm sorry if this distresses you, but it's a good thing because they're part of the cycle here, and they make sure things that die aren't wasted. And you can see that its head doesn't have any feathers on it. That's because of what they eat. So they use a sense of smell, and that can help you identify particular birds. Someone's saying they are like garbage men. They clean up. Yes, very true. Oh, okay. So behavior. I have a poem for you. Promised you some poetry. Here it is. The rascal. The blue jay is a noisy bird, but a very handsome sight. He wears a sky blue jacket, striped and patched, with gray, black, and white. He's often called a rascal by all the other birds, for he likes to tease and scare and chase, and always loves by all the other birds, for he likes to tease and scare and chase, and always loves to be heard. He lives here in the summertime and in the winter too, so don't forget to leave a treat, and he'll be sure to knock. Thank you. Author unknown. So poetry can help you identify birds if it's very descriptive. You can also write some poems about birds. Okay, so we're on to number 4 already. Sounds and calls. So how do you tell a fish crow from an American crow? They look pretty much exactly alike. You can either get one in the hand and look at some really tiny differences in their feathers, or you tell them by sound. I'm going to play the sound of the American crow first, okay? Ah! 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 All right. Now the fish crow. Uh-uh. 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 They sound different? The fish crow makes me want to laugh. And the American crow sounds a little harsher. Now, obviously, I wasn't playing those. Those are some of the few bird sounds I can do. I hope you think I did a good job with that. So sound is it's really important. There are blind people who bird by sound only, because there are many birds that, first of all, you might not be able to identify by sight. I got a good audience here. Okay. Okay, twist my arm. I'm going to do it again. The American crow. Ah! the fish crow. Ah, 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 ah. Thank you. Um, so yeah, so blind people bird just by sound, and some places you go, oh, good. Some of the other classes did it. Excellent, excellent. That's great. I'm so glad. I bet some of you can do other sounds too. Maybe after the presentation, do some owl sounds, for instance. Um, so how many bird calls can I do, and can you do them? Honestly, I wish I were better. I can do the fish crow and the American crow and like a barred owl, you know. That's about it. But some people are incredibly talented. And if you find someone like that, have them come into your classroom because it's really fun to watch them, or you can find some videos on YouTube. Yeah. Um, um, so Oh, I'm going to play you some bird sounds because um, some birds you can only identify by sight, as I said, and others you can't see sometimes. They're hidden. They stay very hidden, and you can look and look and look, and chances are you might not see them. Also, it's just another fun way to bird watch, just to bird listen. And some of you will be very talented at this. I'm not particularly talented with the sounds, but I do enjoy trying to learn them. So, oh, barn owl call. All right, I'm gonna spell this out. Barred owl, not barn. Barred, Barred. Woo 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 woo. Okay, that's it. That's it. The birds. I'm gonna play you some now. Okay, so what am I playing first? Okay, let me know if you can hear this because I'm playing it on my computer. Can you hear that? Oh, good. Okay. So what bird is it? Common bird. Wait, I better stop it. Let's keep going. Okay. So, any guesses? That bird is probably found near most of you. Ah, someone said finch. Close. Any other guesses? Robin. Yes, that's the sound of an American robin. Good. It's it's kind of melodic. It has a lot of short phrases that go up and down. And I'm gonna play two more calls for you. Okay. Here's one. Okay. Any guesses on that one? Someone says blue jay. Anyone else? I'll give you a hint. It's not what you think it is. Someone says a gull. No, 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 no. Any other guesses? Believe it or not, that's the sound a bald eagle makes. Yeah, pretty crazy, huh? Someone says rusty gate. Now, that's very good because being able to describe a sound in words, like saying, to me, it sounds like a rusty gate, that will help you remember it. So that's excellent. Yeah, that's a bald eagle. Okay, I got one more. One more for you. And it's another weird one. All right, anyone? I'm going to show a video of this one too, okay? Uh, Weird, huh? So fascinating. You can also see where this bird nests. Doesn't look like their nests have been very good for the tree. So I think this is in Florida. These guys are actually egrets. So and I think they're snowy egrets. That might be a couple different kinds. Not achicadee. Not a chickadee. Oh, not a chickadee. No, no. So birds have songs that are beautiful, but they also have calls that are strange, and they'll make a variety of sounds talking to each other or talking to their young. So that can be a whole lot of fun to to start learning about. And there's all sorts of things online, so you can listen to different bird songs. Let me go back to my slides. Ah, right. Here's a tip is to learn a few species at a time and then apply your knowledge. Like listen to the robin song 10 times, and then when you know there's robins around, go on outside and listen to the real ones. I mean, it's best to watch the bird and hear the song come out of it, but you can also practice beforehand using recordings. And some of you are going to be really, really good at doing this. I'm not. I'm like average or maybe below average, but over the years I've at least learned some, and it's fun. Okay, going on to number 5. 5 out of 6. We're almost there. This silhouette of the bird. What's a silhouette? That's its outline. And along with silhouette, we'll look at shape and size. So, what's that one? Come on, you got to know that one. We've seen this one, and listen to this one now. Yep, you got it. This is the bald eagle, a type of raptor. The bald eagle. Look at those wings. Look how thick they are. Their width is great, but also, I mean, their length is great, but their width is also big. It's kind of like a plank, a big board. If you look up in the sky and see that. Now, I have to tell you that if you are in an area where there are bald eagles, nesting or feeding within 10 miles, you could see one. I'll often be driving near where my parents live, which is like between Washington and Baltimore. It's like big cities, urban areas. And I'll look up and and there's a bald eagle. And people don't expect it, so they often don't see it. They don't believe what they're seeing. But they'll nest. They nest on bridges and they'll nest near urban areas. And since they're so big and they fly so much, you could see one, anywhere around there. It's very interesting. Okay, what else? What's this? This is a crow, and this is their size, relative size. So a huge bird's bald eagle, big bird is the crow. Moderate sized bird is this, the robin. And notice it's standing because you're often going to see him that way, standing in your yard or someplace listening for worms, or maybe they smell them. I think they smell them and they hear them. Okay, I'm going to do another one. See if you can guess this one. How about that one? What silhouette is that? See, without even seeing the colors or any of the markings of a bird, you can tell what it is. Oh yeah, everyone got this one. A hummingbird. Excellent job. And that one, I'm going to tell you what that one is. That's our egret again. That one's a great egret. And by looking at its long legs, you could think, oh, that's going to be a bird that we're going to find in water a lot of the time. Those wading birds have long legs. And how about that one? Anyone know which bird that is? I can't fool you. It's not a bird at all. It's a mammal. It's a bat. Good job. All right, and here is a what do I want to say? Familiar twilight scene. Well, we already have answers. You guys are getting fast. Yep, it's an owl. You notice the little tufts on top that look like ears or horns? It's a great horned owl. um, it's uh, it's called a great horned owl because it has feathers up there, but its ears aren't there at all. Its ears are lower down on the side of its head, and they're just holes in its head. They don't have like an earlobe like we have. Yep, great horned owl. Great. All right, now finally we come to colors and markings. Like I said, this is the last thing, especially you guys, because when your eyesight's so much better when you're younger. So your eyesight is at its peak right now. So look at the big things first, and then maybe use the binoculars or the spotting scope and look at the colors and markings. I mean, some of them are really, really obvious, like this one, a bluebird. All right, this one's a eastern bluebird, I think. Oh, what's that? We go from bluebird to blackbird. This is a red red-winged blackbird. I always want to say red-shouldered because it looks like it's on their shoulder, but they're red-winged blackbirds. All right, and look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's a type of woodpecker. It's a golden-fronted woodpecker because of that gold or yellow right above its bill. Golden fronted. Now, looking at coloration can fool you, though, because there's differences often that the young are very different from the adults. So here we have what? Anyone? Anyone know what this? And I will get to your question in just a moment. Yes, baby robin. There's the adult. They look somewhat similar, but you have to keep in mind that some birds have different plumages, feather types, until they're an adult, maybe for 4 years, including the bald eagle, which doesn't get its white head for 4 or 5 years. So that can make things a little confusing, but it also makes it pretty interesting. So let me go back to a couple of the comments here because I don't want to miss them. Oh, one class is making a list of all the birds we are seeing. And so I'm assuming you're counting the ones you're seeing on the screen here. So that's great. That'll give you a good list. And then all the ones that you'll see in the schoolyard and at home, you'll be surprised at how quickly you put together a pretty good list. So there's a question. Is it true that red-winged blackbirds are really, really territorial? I could have paid you to ask that question because I have a really good story about that. When I was younger, I before I worked for Fish and Wildlife Service, I worked as a seasonal biological technician, meaning I worked on different people's projects. One woman was studying red-winged blackbirds. So one of the things that we did was we tried to test how territorial the birds were. Now this is a little bit mean, but no birds were harmed. We had a stuffed crow. I guess it was a crow. I think it was a crow. A stuffed crow on a pole, and we would cover it with a cloth. And we went out into the marsh where the blackbirds nested, and we put it up in the marsh. And then we stepped back and hid ourselves, and there was a string attached to the cloth. And we pulled the cloth, and it came off, and the blackbirds could see the crow there, and oh my gosh, they attacked it. Now the males are the territorial ones, they came in and they attacked it, and they attacked it so much that we had to create a toupee for this crow. It lost so many feathers, we had to find some cloth and put it in on the back of its neck. So yes, they are very, very territorial. The males are. Yep. All right. Oh, so a little bit more about things to look at. If you really get into this, there's all sorts of markings on the bird that you can look for. For instance, on its wing, it could have stripes that are called wing bars or patches called wing patches. And on the head, there's also a variety of different markings you could look for. And if you like to draw birds, then you can color these things in and do, make up your own, or also it's a good way to study them is by drawing them, especially if they're sort of complicated. Okay, so the big 6, not so secret tips. Who remembers the first one? Anyone? Oh, good. All right. Everyone remembers it. Location. Okay, before we go on to number 2, I am going to address this question because it's so interesting. What would happen to a bird if it didn't have any feathers? What do you think? What do those feathers do? They help it fly, but not all birds fly, right? But there's another really important few things that they do. Yeah, wouldn't fly. Absolutely not. It wouldn't fly with feathers. Yes, insulation. It would be very cold or very hot. Those feathers keep it warm when it's cold, and they keep it from overheating when it's hot. So I would say those are the two biggest things. I don't know. Can anyone think about other reasons for feathers? Oh, well, they might not be able to attract a mate, right? If their mate likes the, you know, bright, brilliant colors on it, and that's a lot. That's actually why a lot of birds have those incredible plumages. Think about the peacock. If the male peacock didn't have any feathers, oh no, wouldn't find a mate. Hmm. Oh, here's another question. Are birds cold or warm-blooded? Who knows the answer to that? Birds cold-blooded or warm-blooded? Anyone? Good, good. Okay. Elgin gets it. They are warm-blooded. Yep, they're warm-blooded. Um, Reptiles, however, are cold-blooded. Warm-blooded means that they need to maintain a certain body temperature. Um, Although some of them can live in crazy cold places. Like there's a hummingbird that lives way up in the mountains of the Andes, really high, and it gets super cold there at night. It drops its own body temperature at night. It's called going into torpor, and its breathing slows down, its heartbeat slows down, its temperature drops, and that's how it survives the night. So, um, pretty interesting adaptation there. Okay, we're going to go back to the big six. What was number two? Was it? Oh, you guys are saying habitat. I can't even remember the exact order. Let's see. Yes, it was habitat. Excellent. Excellent. Habitat. What type, where the bird is found, where it feeds, where it puts its nest. Is it a marsh, a lake, a beach? Is it the woods? Is it grassland? Is it in the city? Uh, might it nest in a big building? And etc. All right, what's number three? Dun dun dun. Oh man, Kenyon's fast. Although I'm not sure. Oh, I guess it is. Got a lot. Okay. Good job. Number three is behavior. All right. So you're going to think about where you are, your location, and the range of the bird. You're going to think about what type of area, what's the habitat it's in, and then you're going to look at its behavior, how it's feeding, um, for instance, how it's moving. Is it running more than flying? How it's interacting. That will help you as well. Um, Oops, sorry. I just pressed that too fast. Number four. Yeah, you guys got it. The sounds, calls, songs, and any other sounds. What's a sound that a bird would make that's not a call or a song? How might a bird make another type of sound? Could it pound its bill against a tree? Yes, woodpeckers make sounds like that, and those some of those sounds are territorial. Like the woodpecker will go to a big hollow tree and try and make the loudest noise it can. And some woodpeckers have learned to go to tin roofs and they bang on the tin roof, and it makes a really loud, pretty annoying sound. Yeah, pecking is a big one. I'm sure there's other ones. I can't think of them right now. Okay, what's number five? Yes. Making chickadee dee dee sounds. Cool. Number five, yes, you're right, is silhouette. Excellent. So you're looking at the size, this like the shape of the bird, its proportion through its silhouette. Does it stand upright? Does it have a big head, a small head, big bill? Um, what's it? Does it have long legs? Um, and its relative size. So that means relative size means in comparison to something. It's really hard to tell the size of something if it's all by itself. But if you have, say, a robin and you're looking at a bird that's smaller than it, that will help you if you identify one of the birds or if it's near something that you know the size of. Okay, and the last one, very last, of course, everyone, colors and marking. Excellent job. All right. And so, with these tips, what I want to tell you to do is go birding in your neighborhood, in the parking lot, in your school, in the woods. Go every city, almost every city within 50 miles has a national wildlife refuge, and those are great places to bird as well. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I think I missed somebody's question. If I missed your question, you can put it in again, okay? That's the multitasking is a little bit of a challenge. Got that one. I don't know. Yeah, I think I missed a question, but I don't know which it is. Oh, have I? Okay, there's a lot of questions. Um, First of all, uh, I want to mention that those classrooms that are doing the backyard bird watch, that's great. That's such a neat way to learn birds and to have some fun at school. So that's super. Have I ever done a big year? No. I'm the kind of birder, there's different kinds of birders. Some people really love to go out and just see as many different kinds that they can. I just kind of like to see what's around and travel in my neighborhood and around where I am to see birds. So I've never done a big year, and I do keep track of the birds I see, but I don't really have like one big list. Um, what was my college path? Good question. I went to a school that was known for its environmental studies, so I got a bachelor's degree then. And after I did that, I was able to get seasonal jobs. I didn't want to go back to school. It's like enough school. But to get the jobs where I was in charge, I had to go back to school. So I went back and got a master's in wildlife biology, and I actually really enjoyed it. It was great fun because as part of that, you do a research project, and I did one on Canada geese. That was really neat. And then I started working for the federal government, and then I actually went back to school yet again and got a degree in communications. So I'm doing more of that now. Um, and yeah, so wildlife biology and communications. What is my favorite animal other than birds? Is there anything else? No, just kidding. Um, hmm, I don't know. I guess I have a lot of favorite animals. Right now, I'm really interested in insects because they're so amazing that they have, like, the larvae are different than the adult. Like dragonfly, the young lives in the water and is like a bug crawling around, and the adult flies. So I guess that's my latest kind of fascination. Okay. You got a lot of questions. Um, I'm gonna go to the one on Canada geese. Um, yes, the Canada geese. There are, gosh, there's like 14 different subspecies of Canada goose, um, based on size. It keeps changing. You know, if you have a book, look in your book and see. Um, and it's not, it's different subspecies that migrate and don't migrate. But the story is this, and I think it's true. In the 1970s, my old agency, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, was trying to get more geese out for hunters to hunt because that's one of the things they did is provide birds that so people can hunt. And they bred Canada geese in captivity and then put them out in places. And they tried to find like the most hardy birds to breed, and they did. And these birds were so hardy, and they just stayed where they were because they found the food they needed. They could nest, and so they stopped migrating, or never really did since they were raised in captivity. And now there's a lot more, lots and lots doing that. That would be an interesting story to look up to see. Like 5 years ago, no one had really written it up that well, but I bet since that time, there's been sort of an expose or investigation in it. So um, what would happen if birds of prey didn't have curved beaks to catch and eat their prey? Hmm. Some of them don't actually catch the prey with their bills. They catch them with their talons, like the osprey. And the peregrine falcon dives down on its prey when it's in midair, and it basically stuns it, like it collides with it, and that's what kills it, breaks its neck often. But without the bill to eat them, I think it'd be really difficult. I don't think that they would last very long. Yeah, interesting question. Oh, it's a good question. All right. I was walking my dog and I saw a lady feeding the geese bread. I didn't know what to say to her, but I knew she shouldn't be doing that. What should I say to her if I see her again? So a lot of people like to feed geese, ducks, and around here the gulls. And it's not good for the birds because they they're not. they haven't adapted to eating human food. I mean, they've evolved to eat their natural food. So the food is bad for them, number one. Number two, they might stay longer in a place they shouldn't, like not migrate, because someone's feeding them. And then if that food source is stopped, they die, or if it gets cold, they die. So that's number two. Number three, it makes some of them very aggressive. So you'll have gulls attack people or try and get their food, even if they don't mean to give them food. So what would I say exactly? I don't know what I'd say exactly, but I would try and educate people. A lot of people just don't get it. And you want to say it in such a way, like not, oh, that's really wrong, but just try and educate them. Hey, I've been learning about this in school, and did you know? And that's why, did you know it's not good for them, etc. And that's why you shouldn't feed them. I think it's great if you try and educate people. If you can do it without like being upset or angry. Sometimes like if people's dogs are chasing birds, I'm almost too angry to talk to the people. So then I have someone else do it. 'Cause it's not going to help it. I don't think I'll educate them if I'm angry. Okay. Ooh, okay. How can we attract a greater variety of birds to our backyards? Well, think about habitat. What do birds need in their habitat? They need food, water, shelter, and nesting. So you want to provide those things. Um, Bird feeders are good. I use whole black sunflower seeds, black oil sunflower seeds, and then I also have suet. You can also put up thistle seed, which attacks things like goldfinches. And if you really want to get into it, you can put mealworms out in the summer for things like bluebirds. So you can feed them. You can put water out for them, a little bird bath, and you can put places for them to nest, so nest boxes. So uh, you can put up a really big one and try and get an owl. I have one of those up, a screech owl house, or smaller ones for wrens and bluebirds and swallows. Then you also can attract them in natural ways by planting, native plants, the things that they would want to eat. So those are all good ways to do it. Now, if you do feed the birds, especially if you feed hummingbirds, you have to keep it up. The hummingbirds eat sugar water, and if you stop, it could be, through the summer, it might not be good for them. And keep things clean. And the most important thing, and I'm really adamant about this, keep your cats indoors. Cats should stay indoors. I had a cat, always indoors, because they will go after the birds. Okay, we're almost done. Some people are leaving. Goodbye. And I'm going to just answer a couple more questions. How do I feel about hunters hunting birds? Personally, I'm not into hunting myself, but it's very important for a lot of people. It's part of their culture. They grew up doing it. A lot of people eat them. And also, hunters can be some of the best conservationists. So as long as there's enough birds that they can hunt them, I'm not against it. Some birds where the populations are declining, I don't think it's a good idea. Something about, last thing I'm going to address. Donna says, I recently found out that birds cannot see glass. Where can I get those window dots for the windows? You can get online and you can find them in all sorts of shapes and colors, snowflakes or this and that, or you can cut things out and paste them up there, tape them up there, little dots, whatever. Some people cut out a shape of a peregrine falcon because a lot of birds avoid that silhouette. They see that silhouette of a peregrine falcon, and because peregrine falcon eats small birds, they might stay away from it. But anything will work. Well, we're drawing to a close. Thank you guys so much. This has been fun. Wait. I've got, there we go. There's my email address again. If you have any other questions, email me. It's been super. I hope you do more of these. I hope you do them next year. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.